I still have resistance. And it has to do with my mother and my father. And I realize I love them less than everybody else. I was in a meditation about, I don't know, a few months ago, and I was with my partner, and I had this opening up, and it was this, I just realized something about a song. I love everyone the same. And it was just this, I don't love you more. You know, like my partner, I was telling him I don't love you more. I love you the same as everyone else. And then over the last few weeks, I started realizing I love my parents less. Yeah. And I'm not sure, and I'm looking for practical steps on how I can let my heart open again to them.
Have you ever heard of the Indian sage Anandamaya Ma? No, it's not important. She was an Indian teacher and of the caliber of Ramana Maharshi and Atmananda Krishna Menon. And her husband was her student. And she was talking one day in her ashram in India with a group of her students and disciples, and about love, her love for everyone being equal. And apparently, he said to her afterwards, one of her attendants told this story later, that he said to her afterwards, I understand what you were saying about love, but you do really love me more than everybody else, don't you? And she said no. Love is not something that can be divided up and portioned out to different people. So if you have discovered that in your life, you have discovered a great thing about love, that we can like people more or less. That's natural. Some bodies prefer coffee, some bodies prefer tea. That's just conditioning. So it's natural that certain body minds are drawn to certain people and not drawn to other people. That's a natural conditioning of the body mind, but it has nothing to do with love. Love is something that is absolutely equal and indivisible. So you have discovered that. But there is obviously just this one little area of your life where your parents seem to be excluded from that. And I would say two things. First of all, that the reason we tend to have conflict with our parents is because of what they did or didn't do to us. And the important thing to realize about our parents is the reason that they did or didn't do certain things to us is because their parents did or didn't do certain things to them. And the reason why their parents did or didn't do certain things to them is because their parents did or didn't do certain things to them. In other words, there's no personal responsibility at the level of the body-mind, we are all conditioned. So understanding that takes the personal judgment out of the situation. Our parents are the products of their conditioning at one level, just as we are. That may not mean that we like them more because of their conditioning, but nevertheless, we don't hold them personally responsible. And removing the personal judgment and blame is a large part of the issue. So that's the first thing I'd say is really see. Don't just pay lip service to the idea, but really see your parents are not responsible. There is no entity there that is responsible. And the second thing I would say is not to judge yourself, not to give yourself a hard time for not being able to totally accept your parents as they are. That itself is part of your conditioning. If you try to force it, you're accentuating the separate self in yourself. You're judging yourself. You're setting yourself up for failure. I should be able to love my parents, but I can't. Therefore I'm failing, etc., etc. You're just reinforcing the separate self in yourself, which means reinforcing that part of you that cannot truly love your parents. So don't really work on your love for your parents. Work on that part of yourself that feels a failure, that feels you can't love them, that you should love them, even that you want to love them. And see what happens when that part of yourself, when you give that part of yourself a break. See what happens to your love of your parents when you stop judging yourself for not loving them, when you stop feeling a failure, when you stop even desiring for things to be different. See how the love for your parents evolves. That in combination with the understanding that they're not responsible. They're not personally responsible for whatever they did or didn't do.
Thank you.
I didn't feel that I really loved my father until I no longer wanted anything from him. As long as I wanted something from him, as long as I needed something from him, I was setting him up for failure and me up for disappointment, for resentment, for judgment, for blame. It wasn't until I really genuinely felt I need absolutely nothing from you. You've given me everything you had to give. I have no more demands of you. I feel I want nothing from you. I need nothing from you. And it wasn't until I realized that I felt I really loved him for who he is. I couldn't have loved him for who he is before I came to that realization.